Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I swear I'm almost done and we can get this thing ordered.
Sure.
There's two questions that I have. So Jack, I was talking to Jack today, and he asked if those Soss hinges, if it makes sense to make them spring hinges, and if there's a huge cost increase to doing that.
I don't think it makes sense to do it in the sense that I don't, on a door that heavy, I believe they'll probably be a nuisance rather than helping. And I mean, no, there's not a huge cost increase. It's just, you know, I mean, imagine taking a 300-pound door, getting springs under compression, and then letting the door go. You know what I mean? Imagine what that could be like hitting the jam, if they even got the door to the closed position to begin with.
Got it. Okay, so it's not a good idea. Okay, great, perfect. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
And then the second question for you is the so without that, it was a question about the strike plate. So with going over the strike plate, so when the door closes, because we're using that false latch bolt, will the strike plate in the unpowered, let's say the fail-safe position, will it kind of hold the door closed? Like to a certain extent, if there's the weight of the door keeps it unsealed, or will it be loose?
No, it's going to be loose. When you've got fail-safe, that keeper is just going to open, and the weather stripping under compression is going to force that open, in my opinion.
Okay, great. So how do we deal with that? Because he would have to always supply power to it to keep the latch engaged, and then he would have to disengage it to make sure that it clears.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like we spoke last week, it's in order to keep a fail-safe locked, you've got to always power it. And
yeah, which is what you provided.
Well, that's what was specified. You know, my opinion is that the door should be fail-secure so that in the absence of power, your door is always locked. But as you know,
that's going to be hard. Yeah, but for that entry door, we can't do it for that one because let's say if the power goes down and he's in the house, the latch will be stuck and he can't get out because he doesn't have a lever to open that deadbolt, the latch bolt.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a life safety problem to do it with a fail secure strike and and a latch bolt only in the edge of the door. Correct.
So so it is going to be pretty loose. There's he will have to close the door, or he'll have to keep the power on to the strike latch any time he wants to open the door. Or he'll have to turn the power off every time he wants to open the door to the latch, to the strike latch. Like he'd basically have to buzz himself out every time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there would need to be, you know, something that will open that circuit so that power is cut.
Okay, got it. So I need to talk to him about it because that is probably, is there a way to keep the door, so I know we did the overhead closer, but is there a way that we could get a spring on there that would keep the door closed in the closed position? Would that overhead closer, could we set it so that when the door closes, it actually closes into a certain position?
All of that stuff will certainly work. It's just increasing the spring rate such that when the door's in the closed position, or whatever residual compression there is occurring, would probably make it pretty stiff as you were opening the door, you know, getting the door past 45 degree, 70 degree and whatnot.
Yeah.
In order to really push against that, because any entry door that's got that weather stripping, and maybe the answer is to change the weather stripping type so that you don't have that problem. it's all those doors have to be pulled and latched. Well, there is. I mean, you could put stuff into the stiles of the door. The doors could be mortised, and you could put a pile into the edge of the door. And they have they have mortised gasketing that has springs underneath it, so that over time you can adjust the projection of those, replace the pile. It requires mortising to the door, so the installer would need to review that, or the door shop would need to review it to make sure they could do it. And if anything, that would probably assist in the trouble, because once the door is in the pushed, closed position, it has more of a tendency to stay there. And where you see that gasketing is on patient room doors where they've got rescue pivots. They'll put that in the edge because they don't want to line of sight. You don't want to be able to see someone inside of there necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
So they put that.
So a mortised seal would be the way to get around this issue.
It would certainly eliminate the need for Q-line gasketing that's going to want to push the door out in a way, a compression style.
Got it. And then would the overhead closer then, would that help us in that sense? Like kind of just put a little bit of pressure to keep the door down, but not enough to really affect opening the door in a smooth fashion?
I think that it would. I think that closer would be effectual to a certain degree.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Let me talk to Jack and then see where he wants to go from there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Richard.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.